This one's all about Larry, and this one's all about people who give and give and give and just give a perfect excuse for everyone else who wants to give and give and give. Because there's really nothing like it. If you don't give, you don't receive. And the more you give, the more you receive. And I'm not teaching anybody anything at all. Least of all, Danielle Godard, who is standing here to my right, to whom we owe this whole wonderful, moving event, which is probably going to end up with some of us in tears, but they are the best kinds of tears you could ever imagine. Danielle, I'm so happy to meet you, make your acquaintance, through Glenn Standen, and his wife, Shelley Standen. And this, of course, is our wonderful Larry, guest of honor, who's standing there very stoic. Awkward. And his wonderful sister, Susie. So let's start with Danielle. Where do you know Larry from? And what inspired you to organize this wonderful fundraising event?
I met Larry last year during the flooding in Rockland. And I remembered seeing him all over the place. And then when Susie set a GoFundMe page on Ottawa Rockland I Need to Know, and I opened it and I saw Larry, I couldn't help it. So I just started the ball rolling, and that's how it got going.
You were inspired. And how did you rope this horrible man Glenn into it, who never wants to do anything for the community? That must have been tricky. Tell us, Glenn, how do you know Larry, and what are you doing here?
Larry and I have known each other for about 3 years, just acquaintance sort of deal. I've known his wife Shannon a lot longer, and Larry was my right-hand man during the flood, and we used to call Larry the Ninja, or Pago Larry, because Larry would sneak into places and sandbag without the people even knowing he was in there. And these are people that didn't want any help from us because they'd had some problems with their townships or something, not Clarence Rockland, but outside. And we had to sneak out of our jurisdiction to go help them out. And Larry was always there for me and did a perfect job on sandbagging. I'll tell you, we almost got him signed up as being a sergeant major for the military. So I was either going to be in the next flood or get him over to Afghanistan with it, but he said he didn't like tanning that much, so. And so when I heard that Danielle needed some help for Larry, and I said, well, what can I do to help Larry out? And so I approached all the local businesses that I could, that I deal with on a daily basis or semi-day, every other day sort of deal. And as you could see from all the presents that are out, or the gift baskets and the donations and that, it's overwhelming how much these people turn around. And as soon as you mention Larry's name, I know him. So there's been quite a bit of basically the whole town, city of Clarence Rockland has just stood up, helped us out, helped Larry.
That is pretty much Larry. I have to tell my story of Larry because long before the flood, I have a trailer on my property, a repossessed trailer, and it needed some gutting on the inside, and a few of us were trying to do our best, but none of us had ever been in construction, had absolutely no idea what we were getting into with the 72-foot trailer, and one of us, Ginette Lortie, put out a call on Facebook asking if anybody would volunteer a few hours to come and help demolish the inside of a trailer. Yeah, you can guess the next part of the story. Larry shows up. These shoulders, they're not just pretty, they're not just decoration. The man had the trailer gutted in about, 3 hours, and then trotted off very happily, promising to come back, which he did. So, this is Larry. This is Larry. He shows up everywhere, and people know him because of the good things he's done. And there is nothing too much that people can do to help him at this time deal with a situation that is absolutely incomprehensible and could happen to any one of us. Now, Susie, Larry's sister is here, and I think Susie should say a few things about Larry before he became Larry, the guy who's always there for everybody else. What was he like as a brother? He must have been a pest.
Actually, he was very picked on as a brother. With older sisters, we picked on him all the time, but we loved the bits out of him. And he's always been my hero. Since we were little kids, he's been my hero. So it's not surprising the kind of outpouring that's coming for him. It's amazing because he's amazing. I love him, and he deserves all the help he can get, because if it was somebody else, he'd be right there doing the same thing.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. That's exactly it. Larry's always there for somebody else. Now, Larry, I'm sure that you're very surprised by all of this, because people like you don't usually expect anything in return. This is the first time that you've had people throwing themselves at you and trying to do something for you?
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure I've had help in the past, which probably is the reason it prompts me to help other people. I'm kind of taken back and a complete loss for words right now. But I would like to thank this crowd right here, because they've done so many amazing things and put so much effort and time into helping me. And the community, everything people in the community have done just has changed.
You're up against some pretty tough odds, but they've never stopped you before.
No, you're right. And then we're going to get through this now.
You are.
Sorry, I can't say much more.
That's okay. We can talk. And actually, you are going to get through this, because if you don't get through it, there's a park in this town that's going to have to be renamed for you, and you're not going to be there to do the work. So you're going to get through this, okay? Because there's no other way. And there's so many people rooting for you, and that's the way the world works. That you're either going to be coming back, working on all of these things, or you're going to go to a monastery and start praying for everybody else.
We have a presentation for Larry, and all the vendors and everybody got together, and businesses in town, and we made this basket just for Larry and the family. There's from Broadway's, who's Mike Cook's been just fantastic with us. Boston Pizza, Jumbo Pizza. There's a family meal in there. Shoppers Drug Mart, jewelry, for the Ford dealership. It's overwhelming how much these people put in for the basket for you, Larry. And Danielle and I put it together.
I was ill for a week, and they took over, and I'm so appreciative.
I'd like to mention one more thing, though.
Absolutely.
She's not here, but I couldn't have got through this without my wife and my kids.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for our community spotlight. And this has been a very moving and very touching and rewarding event. So stay tuned for more, because as we all know, this is not the end of it. Larry's going to be organizing these things in no time at all. All the best. Have a great week.